I'm going to call upon Trayson to come up and
Yeah.
speak.
So the next group that we're going to have up, we're going to have Liam and Trayson speaking about Google Maps, which is where they do the inspiration from to then design their interactive design product. So let's give it up for them.
All right, so our app that we chose at the very beginning of this was Google Maps. And we looked a little bit at our interactions personally with the app. This was actually taken from one of our stop motion videos. We didn't actually hit Serena with a moving vehicle. We staged it. It was all stationary. But this is sometimes the case with trying to find out where you're going. Now, it's definitely not ideal. We're always rushing, we're always on the move, constantly being bombarded by information, and we just need to find a bit of direction sometimes. So we distilled the app itself down to two keywords, ETA and direction. Now Trayson's going to talk a bit about ETA.
Good evening, good morning, good, oh my gosh, jeez. Let's see.
Nice.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Trayson Hamilton, and the direction, so to speak, I chose to go with ETA. As a user of Google Maps, I tend to use that aspect of the app more, and with this, I chose to associate the feelings with it, so the anxiety feelings or any of the feelings that go with the rushing of where we need to go, the traffic situation, and what choices need to be made at the time. And with this, I present to you Aura, which it developed as a haptic feedback product. But with the issues around it, I decided to go for a more of a peripheral object that would be an object you would see. And with this, it portrays connected to your phone through Google Maps. It tells you the congestion on the roads at the time, and this is portrayed with how the spikes protrude out of the product itself. And again, with the spikes, it's a physical representation of how your anxiety levels or how you would be feeling at the time on the roads, to just give the user more of an opportunity to just decide whether they want to leave or stay at the time. So with this, the heart and soul of the product is a mini air pump, which is situated in the middle of the product. With this, it's operated by a circuit board, which then with the mini air pump, it pushes air into the mini membrane, which is then inflated and pushed against outer pins against the outer membrane, which then you can see as a spike ball. And with this, it uses minimal energy, and it can always be on, and it's always giving you information, but very basic. Where it would be used, would be at a workstation, generally in the city, where you would want to know specifically when you would like to leave, in looking out for the traffic situations. More in your peripheral, so that it's not in your face. We looked at a lot about
Comm technology.
Comm technology, thank you. Where the product is in the peripheral of the user, and the user has the opportunity to engage with it when they need the information or not, and to concentrate on what the activities they are doing at the time. When interacting with the product, to track your route, your general route, you would connect it to your phone through Google Maps, which then you would shake twice, and at the end of your route, when you arrive at work, you would check again, and it would calculate your general route. As we know, there's about three estimated time arrivals or three different routes that you can take to get to your destination. This covers the overall especially generally with the traffic at the end of the day. And again, I just want to talk about how the product generally, other than focusing on the traffic congestion, it's just portraying the anxiety or the feelings that you would have when being in traffic at the time. Over to you, Liam.
Thank you, Trayson. So I decided to run with direction. Now, direction, I had a look at it in terms of what it means to me, and to distill the term to its very basics, you've got arrows, you've got guides, you've got pointers, and I was thinking a very simple device that does display direction would be something like a compass. So keeping that in mind, I worked with a topic that's very close to my heart, and I'm sure a lot of you can relate. Coffee. Coffee is essential to some of us. Now, with all the options we have these days in terms of bean, brew, cafe, barista, we all have our particular favorites. But this can be quite disorientating when you don't have it and you're in an unfamiliar space. So, say for example, you are in Joburg for a business meeting and you chose the cheapest flight, so you've been up since 4:30 in the morning, and you don't know where to find your favorite cafe, because you trust that cafe makes really good coffee. So onto the design process. So this is now going through a few sketches of how I was going to display this direction on top of the coffee cup. It initially was a ball bearing, which was going to rattle around. Eventually moved on to a track, and you'll see a bit later. Also, just thinking about how the customer was actually going to interact with the product itself. This is going into the interaction, is it going to be lifted, is it going to be squeezed, is it going to be tipped, shaken? I thought that it could be quite handy to have something that you would do anyway when your coffee cup is empty. And I thought that maybe you could tip it to see if it is empty upside down. And if it is, it would then tell you where to find more coffee. So introducing Nudge, which essentially nudges you in the direction of coffee. Nudge is a smart coffee cup that is activated by, like I said, tipping your hand. And just to go through the basics of what's inside it, stepper motors, batteries, GPS modules to actually know where the cafe is, and a magnet that corresponds with a little pointer on top. Now, it's not going to send you for a 3-hour hike over Table Mountain just to get to the favorite bootleggers in Buckhaven, because that's not very helpful. So it would obviously be set to within 10-minute walking distance radius. Hopefully one day we can have something that makes this process a lot more simple. Takes the screen looking like this to something a lot more simple like that. Thank you very much.